watching Morning at NTV.
I'm Romeo Busiku, and this is Morning at NTV. Thank you for staying with us. Now, next week, Uganda Tourism Board is set to host the much-anticipated Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo. The tourism and travel trade exhibition will bring together regional and international tour operators, travel agents, destination agencies, and various players in the tourism trade. Now, the exhibition does follow the emergence of the Uganda Tourism Association, which has facilitated the growth of numerous local tour agents. For more on the expectations, we are joined by Paul Kakoza, the president of Uganda Tourism Association, and the deputy CEO Uganda Tourism Board, that is Bradford Ocheng, and they join me right now in studio. Very good morning, Paul.
Thank you.
Mr. Bradford, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So we've seen the adverts, and we've also had them on the radio. Uganda Tourism Board is showcasing one of the biggest Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo. Tell us more about that.
Yes, thank you, NTV, for hosting us. We are actually very happy as UTB, and thank you for the support you've been extending all this. Yes, let me start by probably telling you what UTB is. Uganda Tourism Board is a government agency. We've been in operation since 1994. That is, I could say now, 25 years plus.
Yes.
And in 2008, we had the legal framework revamped and gave us a new mandate. And basically, we are trying to promote tourism in the country. We are trying to make Uganda the most preferred tourism destination in the world, if not in Africa. And we also, as UTB, we also regulate. We do actually oversight to ensure that the standards within the industry is actually what the investors, the visitors, the Ugandans, the foreign tourists actually expect. So we do this through a number of things. We do the inspection, you know, we inspect the facilities, we register, we license, and all that. We also do a lot of promotion, both nationally, regionally, and internationally. So we use all sorts of framework. We use the embassies abroad. We use, we've also actually recruited the farms to actually market us in what they call source market, priority markets, like in the US, Canada, the UK, Germany, Japan, China, all the big economies, you know, the trillion-dollar economies.
Indeed.
We are there. So we use them to actually make sure that the country is seen, visible, and portray a good picture, the Pearl of Africa. And what are the objectives? Really, we want to make sure that the numbers increase, you see. We also want to see the value that we get from tourism going up. We want to ensure that those who come here stay a little longer and spend a little longer. And that is only done if they are satisfied. We also, as we do promotion, we also think that we need to invest. We need to show that the facilities are there. We look for investors. You know, if you see the big hotels, that's the investment. See the facilities in the countryside, those are investments. As UTB, we also ensure that these are there. And of course, as I said again, we actually set and monitor standards. So basically, these are the things that we do. And then to drill it home, Poate, as they call it, that's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo. It's an annual event within our calendar, big event actually. And normally happens in February, that is actually next week this year. And what we are trying to do really is to make sure that whatever we have in the country, you know, people come and we connect with them. Yeah, we connect with them. People come and continue what we have, like from the association, the UTA. They try to showcase. You know, these are the operators, not the private sector. This is what we have. As UTB, we also help them to make sure that the country really brings out what is there. You know, competitively, and then. Finally, we also want to continue discover. You understand? Yeah. So this is actually the main essence of Poate. So we bring in people, and then annually they try to see and work together to make sure that we portray a good image.
Amazing. Let me bring in the president of the Uganda Tourism Association, Paul Kakoza. Now, the theme for this year's Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo is promoting intra-Africa trade. Now, in Africa, most people think that a tourist is someone out of Africa. Tell us more about this theme.
Right, it's actually promote intra-Africa travel.
Promoting intra-Africa travel.
Of course, tourism does, of course, bring trade.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, right. So within Africa, as the landscape stands now, of course, we have a lot of visa restrictions, and we get, of course, outbreaks. As you know, the last one was Liberia when we had Ebola.
Yes.
And still there's a bit of a scare from Eastern Congo and Ebola.
Now there's the coronavirus making its way here.
Indeed.
Yeah,
and of course, you know, tourism is very much dependent on health as well. So, but within Africa, we have a population of over 200, we're 1.2 billion people in Africa. And this 1.2 billion people, and if we look at the dynamics of Africa as a continent, we have a growing middle class, and as Uganda, we must tap into that middle class and not just look. Yes, we have companies promoting Uganda from what we call the source markets, but let us drum up interest in our own Africa. And you did mention, of course, what I remember, not last year, but the year before, the theme actually was domestic tourism at the then Poate. We have to. Charity, they say, begins at home. So I think in combination with the inter-Africa travel, as governments, they should come together and basically try and make tourism easier intra-Africa. You know, if one wants to go to South Africa today, it's a nightmare.
It is,
Ugandan, yes. It is. But South Africa has a lot to offer by way of tourism, and because of their harsh visa restrictions, they have noticed a decline in their tourists. So visa still remains a big hurdle. But for Uganda, it's one of the most hospitable. But we also have, of course, you know, the East African tourist visa. You pay your $100 and you can travel to only 3 East African countries. We must work within the East African community to try and bring, for example, Tanzania and Burundi, South Sudan is now a member, on board, so that we make it easier as a region, first of all, and then look of course, to bigger Africa.
Won't the regional conflicts in the East African region give you any hurdles when it comes to expediting this exercise, intra-Africa travel? You have something, a simmering conflict in Congo, you have something in Southern Sudan. We are not in good terms with Rwanda. Kenya did actually hold back Lato milk. So there's a lot happening within the region. Don't you think such circumstances might give you a lot of setbacks?
I don't think so, personally.
Yes.
Because remember, we as East Africans, originally East African countries was Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. Kenya is actually the biggest contributor to tourism or visitor numbers into Uganda. And we have family, relatives across borders. So, you know, many times you will find actually there is a lot of undocumented travel between all these countries. We have Uganda Airlines now, which has facilitated and given us a boost on the regional routes and accessibility. And we plan, for example, like now at the Poate, when we're showcasing many tour and travel agents, we'll be showing, and the hotels as well, will be showing their product and what Ugandans can hope, you know, if they want to go for a dream holiday, a honeymoon, leisure. And also, don't forget, Uganda is also promoting itself in the MICE space, that meetings, incentives, conferences and events. And this is a chance for us to showcase what we really have.
Amazing. Mr. Bradford, since 1994, would you say that Uganda's tourism industry has been growing, or has it been taking a downward slant?
Yes, I would think the figures are very clear. Actually, as I talk now, we're the #1 foreign exchange earner.
Amazing.
Yes, we're #1. No inner sector beats us. And just because of simple things, tourism is a low-hanging fruit sector. Easy to enter. Entry barriers are not as you compare with other sectors. Easy. And again, just to add on what Paul says, Africa, of all the 1.8 million tourists that we had a year ago, 70% is actually from Africa.
Amazing.
Yes. And if you even look at the EAC alone, you find actually in terms of numbers, ordering Kenya #1, Rwanda #2, Tanzania #3, DRC Congo #3. Then you go to the Americas. You understand? 60,000+. Then you go to the UK, then India, in that order. So again, really, I think the theme is well chosen. We have taken this just for granted. We want to drill really home the message that I think the growths are here, the figures are moving, and we still project that in the next 5-10 years, the next NDP, tourism still is #1.
That's great insight. Ms. Paul, it's great to know that Africans are actually taking keener interest when it comes to travel. What is in for Ugandans come 4th to 6th of February?
You mean the domestic tourism sector?
Or as a whole, Africans as a whole?
Oh, right. We want you to come and visit us.
So what is in for,
What is in? Many tour operators often will offer a discount when you come and you book your holiday at the Powati, at Powati. That's being advertised. We can expect, the connecting. We have what we call hosted buyers who are, as we speak now, they're actually sampling what Uganda has to offer. We have, how many were there, hosted buyers?
54.
54 hosted buyers. And they've gone to different regions of Uganda. And at Powati, they will come and meet with us, the tour operators, the travel trade, tourism trade, and give us their feedback on what they have experienced, not just seen, but experienced. Each one of them has got they're from different countries, and they have a segment, market segment, who they are promoting. They'll come and we'll have discussions and to see how we can improve product Uganda for their different segments. And they, of course, are the professionals in their field, and they know what their clients want or what they're looking for when they come on holiday. So domestically, I would say, as a president of UTA, our members will benefit from this, the feedback, the invaluable feedback they're going to get firsthand, so that we can up our game, so that the next year, when we invite, it might be that some of them may be coming as a repeat to see, and we also hope that they will include Uganda in their itineraries for 2021, because many times, when you come in 2020, it's an investment. Tourism is an investment for the 2 or 3 years ahead.
This is great news for Ugandans, I'm telling you. Well, you've had it in case you need some information when it comes to tourism investment opportunities. Make your way to the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo next week. That is February 4th all the way to February 6th. Mr. Bradford, so how can one be part of this expo?
Well, we've, I think as you put it in your opening remarks, we've had a lot of publicity. Radio, print, online, and all that.
Like, say, if Romeo Busiku wanted to come and be an exhibitor at the Powati Expo, what do I do? What are the requirements want to exhibit?
One, you can come to the UTB. You can do the registration online.
Between now and Monday?
Yeah, between now and Monday. And of course, there's some small fee for the 2 days, 4th and 5th. To participate, you need to pay something.
How much?
Well, it's about 500,000 for the exhibitors, the locals, and then on the 6th is actually business to consumer. That is free, where you have everybody inside again to come and really network, to come and see, and
that is on Wednesday.
That's yes, that is Thursday. Thursday 6th, yeah?
6th, yes.
Yeah, 6th, yeah, that is free.
That's the last day?
Yeah, that's the last day.
That's when it will be free?
Yes. The first 2 days are business to business. That's when now the exhibitors, they interact and meet.
And on those 2 days, where they will be paying that 400,000, don't you think the poor people who actually are looking for this information will be excluded? People who cannot front the 400,000 Uganda shillings.
That's what
don't you think they will be excluded?
That's what I was saying, that on the 6th day, the options are still there. You still don't lose anything. You come and see exactly the opportunities that are there. This is a free day for anybody who may not have time or ability to participate on 4th and 5th.
Mr. Bradford, for inclusion purposes, don't you think this expo should have been free for at least our local people in Uganda? You can charge the international players because they can afford it. Don't you think, for purposes of domestic tourism, that we should have made this free for our local people here? For cases of inclusion?
I think it's just even ownership. Really, I mean, exhibition is not free. It's not free. And business is also not free. It's really, you want you to own, you want you to have commitment. It's basically that. The money value is really, it's just a testimony. It's not really that we are making any money out of it.
Okay.
You understand? But that said, we still say that on the 6th, that's on Thursday, every Ugandan, every local resident, please come to Munyonyo and have a fuel and participate and take advantage of the business opportunities that are there. See what they have, see what the private sector has for you in the month of February and throughout the year, and see exactly how you can catch him.
If I may add.
You've heard it from Mr. Bradford. Just even though you don't have the 400,000 Uganda shillings for the exhibition on Tuesday and Wednesday, you can still make it on Thursday because it will be free, and you'll still be able to interact with the regional and international players with regards to the tourism investment opportunities that you can work with and ensure that the country grows along that path. Now, finally, Ms. Paul, we are wrapping up. Any final remarks you might have for people who are watching right now?
Yes.
And last word for the listeners.
Yes, please. I'd like to thank Uganda Tourism Board for really working very closely with the private sector. And if I may add on a stall.
Yes.
Members of UTA, you know, we have some small associations who could not afford the 500,000 shillings to exhibit as by themselves.
True.
These UTA has been very, very kind, have given UTA 2 stalls for our members to come and exhibit. So nobody is excluded. I'd like you to know.
Amazing.
But please do show up, come up in great numbers and see so that we can connect, showcase and discover Uganda.
President of Uganda Tourism Association, Paul Kakoza, thank you very much. And Mr. Bradford Ocheng, thank you for having made the time to speak to us. The good man from Uganda Tourism Board.
Can you just add one small thing?
Please add.
At the sidelines, also we, parallel to the exhibitions and whatever, we also have presentations, knowledge
on the sidelines of the Expo.
Yes, so there are going to be presentation from well-researched speakers, and we also call upon people to come and listen to some of this. There's a lot that you can take away from this. Yeah, it's free, and people can register to attend.
You've heard it from Bradford and Paul. Make your way to Munyonyo right there for the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo. That is on February 4th all the way to February 6th. Now remember, if you do not have money for the stalls, worry not, just make your way there. As long as you want to get that knowledge, it will be given to you. Just make your way there on the 4th and the 6th. My name is Romeo Busiku, and this is Morning at NTV. Let's take another short breather. We'll be right back with a lot more information. Please don't move a muscle.